Hello everyone, welcome to my channel ID Guru. My name is Anura and today we are going to talk about the third phase of the ID model, which is the development phase. Before this, we have discussed the first two phases, which is the analysis phase and second is the design phase. Now in these two, what we must have received by now is a thorough analysis of the learner, that is your audience, their background, what is expected from the training, that is the delivery method, the content that is to be covered, the context in which it is set, everything you will be aware by now. Second that you must have received is the design document, that is the storyboard. Now the ID must have made sure that you have received everything by now, that is what content is to be covered, in what fashion, that is which graphics are to be taken, how they are to be represented on screen, what is the ID strategy, what are the learning objectives, what are the assessment questions. Now you must be wondering, who am I talking about if I am the ID? So basically the ID is the center point of the entire e-learning procedure. The ID basically caters to the client, the SMEs, they answer all of their queries or they even actually discuss the content with them, get it understood properly, then design the entire storyboard and further give it ahead to the development team. Now the development team includes graphic designers as well as programmers. Sometimes it can happen that the ID is a one-man show. What that means is that you not only write the storyboard, but you actually go ahead and even develop it. So in these cases, sometimes storyboarding is skipped. But I will always recommend that even if you yourself are the designer as well as the developer, still you should bother writing a storyboard. Reason is that it brings in a lot of clarity of thought. Once you have everything in place, that is, you imagine the script for this particular video. If I have not thought about it, I will end up reshooting this again and again. Why? Because my thoughts will vary, the way I say it will vary, or I may fumble. So in that case, having a prior, some sort of a arrangement for it, some sort of a study of it helps. Similarly, the storyboard actually sets the tone for you. So in case you yourself are the programmer, still you should bother writing a storyboard. In case you're not, then that is the go-to document. So basically your storyboard will inform the GD, that is the graphic designer, as well as the developer about what exactly is to be done. Now you must be wondering that if the ID has written this in so much of detail, then what do? Basically they get a reference point. From there on they pick up. For example, for a GD, they basically are visual people. So the ID basically gives reference images or they give them reference animations and then ask the GD to build upon it. So what the GD does is that they take that particular reference image and then find out the best possible representation. They come up with more examples because they understand colors, angles, visuals much better than us. So they come back to the ID with lot of examples, both of them have a discussion and then they finalize. That particular finalized image or decision goes ahead into the development. Now what the programmer does is they take both. That is, they take the graphics from the GD, the storyboard from the ID, and they go ahead and code it. Now what do they code? It depends, because where are you going to place this learning model? That is the LMS, the Learning Management System. So every client has their own choice. Based upon that, we decide what programming language is to be taken. For example, if you want that the module should be possible for your learners to look at it on their phone as well as the computer screen, there should be minimal scrolling. In that case, you cannot go ahead and scroll this for eternity, right? So you would want something that is responsive. Responsive means that it looks same on the screen as well as on your mobile phone. So that is a technology decision that is taken by the programmer and the ID hand in hand. So based upon the choices of the client or restrictions, whatever you may want to call it, these technology based decisions are taken by the programmer, the GD and the ID together, and they decide a best fit. Also, whether the learning management system, whatever your client has, is it possible for that LMS to host this? Because if the file is very heavy, then it is not possible for an LMS to host it for a long time, or there may be glitches, there may be a lot of errors, or your learners themselves may have a lag in watching it. There are all kinds of problems. You know how streaming happens in your data, like when you see it on your computer or you watch it on your phone. If there is a problem with your server, or if there is a problem with your phone, or your data is coming to expire, then you're not going to see this so easily. Similarly, I mean, it's a very vague example, but I'm trying to form an analogy. That is, if the LMS has restrictions, then you cannot pick up any random programming software and just start. For example, earlier we used to use Java for certain kind of mathematical simulations. So in that case, we needed a proper Java programmer who knows to write codes. In today's time, actually, most people use the Adobe suite. In that, whatever softwares are available, we go ahead and use those. Java is outdated now. Even Flash mostly nobody uses. 2D animations, go ahead with all softwares available in Adobe. Also, one more thing you should remember is that on all of these, you should take feedback from your client always, because it should not happen that you will say that, oh, I got the storyboard signed off from my client, so now they know what this looks like. So the thing is, visualization is a skill which not everybody has. You must have tried your level best to show it to them in the storyboard, but how does it actually look when it comes on screen? It looks very different. So you should always show it to your client, take a feedback and revise it then and there. So that is like a 5-10% here and there. That is allowed. But there are certain number of revisions after which you take a sign off from your client on the module and the project comes to a closure. So this is the development phase which I have told you in short words. We will go into details of each of these. It's not as simple as it sounds. There are a lot of technicalities to it, in which how do you decide colors, which color goes with which one doesn't go. There are a lot of decisions which are to be taken. We will discuss all of them in detail. Now there are two more phases after this, which is the implement and the evaluate. We will discuss them in the next videos. If you have liked the video till now, then please like, share and subscribe the video to your friends and to your family. Thank you for watching.